Coming up next, it's the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, where this week we look at a lot of releases and returns in both WWE and TNA. We also have a discussion on the controversy with the Smackdown World Heavyweight Championship, be the booker for this weekend's Fastlane pay-per-view event, and everything else from the world in pro wrestling this week. The Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time starts right now, right here on Fight TV. Ladies and gentlemen of the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Octavius the Tiberius, the alleged backyard, one-time knockout, straight edge, hardcore Hall of Famer hero here on March 2nd, 2017. Welcome to the Ides of March.
It is the Ides of March, and your favorite holiday. It's your favorite month.
Last month was your favorite for obvious reasons. Why is this my favorite month? Please refresh my memory.
It's the month of Jameson.
Jameson Irish Whiskey. You are unaware of the late-breaking news of the last few months, are you not?
Is it about you?
Yeah, Jameson and I are...
You guys broke up?
It's an official divorce.
Really?
He became very dominant in the relationship, and I could not...
Who gets the kids?
Well, I always, had Sprite alongside with us, so there was...
So
we used protection.
Who's the new one? Who did you replace?
I'm currently reviewing a series of new whiskeys to see which one can be found to my liking.
Okay.
Well, I should know by WrestleMania.
Well, I would hope so. By the Shenanigans party?
Yes, indeed. Big news on the Shenanigans party tonight, by the way.
Huge news or big news?
I would say it's huge news.
Huge news.
But with all that out of the way, folks, let's get to this week's big story. And this week's big story, of course, is brought to you by Fight TV, F-I-T-E, Fight, the application you can get right on your mobile device, your phone, your tablet, your Apple TV, which isn't a mobile device, your Roku player, which isn't a mobile device, but those two work with your Fight TV, F-I-T-E, Fight, where you stream it. Over 4,000 hours of wrestling content, including these shows every single week for the Pro Wrestling Report, right to your your Wi-Fi enabled device wirelessly. You can go to the website on your screen right now, fight.tv /PWR, and download the app for free right from that site right now. You get all the content you want. And don't forget, David Hero, WrestleMania weekend in Orlando, Florida. There was only one entity that will be broadcasting live all weekend long.
It's not me.
From Orlando. You're right. You will not be a prominent part of the show in the interest of ratings.
Well, if ratings dip, it's not my fault.
That'll be me and SoCal Val hosting on behalf of the Pro Wrestling Report and Fight TV from WrestleCon on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday over WrestleMania weekend. You can get the Fight TV app for free right now.
So Thursdays with Sting and Ric Flair, right?
Sting, Ric Flair, and good old JR at the kickoff party at WrestleCon. We'll be broadcasting live from that event. And then Stars Galore will be joining us to talk about WrestleMania, WrestleCon, and wrestling in general.
Wasn't that a Bond chick, Stars Galore?
No, I think she had something else that was in abundance.
Gotcha.
And special correspondents as well assisting us with that broadcast. It's going to be an epic broadcast, several hours of live programming, all the way live from Orlando, Florida over WrestleMania weekend.
It's going to be the best weekend ever.
Forever, ever?
Forever, yeah.
Well, folks, back to the big story. And the question, I guess, this week is about one Finn Balor, David Hero, your favorite non-cruiserweight superstar.
That's the big story?
That is the big story.
Huh.
Well, the big story is last week on NXT, as we talked about, he made his return, if you will. And now we found out that Finn Balor is apparently medically cleared to return to action in WWE. The question is now that if we see him in a rumored appearance on this upcoming Monday's WWE Raw on the road to WrestleMania, what does that mean for Finn Balor's WrestleMania status? I don't know where you go with a Finn Balor. We've got time to get there. But what do you think could happen that would be of interest for the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania with Finn Balor?
I don't think he fits into the WrestleMania plans right now.
At all?
Not right now.
Correct, he doesn't right now, but what could he
on
fit
NXT,
into?
so why wouldn't he be a part of NXT TakeOver?
If he is on Raw Monday night, which is, again, nothing on the way to WrestleMania, they're simply building WrestleMania.
Well,
if he is...
It is a Chicago Raw.
Indeed.
And that's always big stuff happens in Chicago.
Yeah. Think that guy Rock called is going to be there?
No, he got too much heat for calling Punk.
You think we're going to hear his name chanted?
Yes.
Do you think those people who chant his name realize that he quit on them?
Yes.
Okay.
But what if it's Finn Balor versus CM Punk?
Well, there's absolutely no chance that's going to happen. But
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
You know why?
Why?
They're still in a lawsuit together.
Oh, that part, yes. But what would you do with a Finn Balor, David Hero, at WrestleMania if he is indeed ready to return to active competition? You got to imagine he'll be part of the show. But what aspect of the show will he be a part of?
All the top guys have matches.
Do they? They have rumored matches, nothing announced,
you
meaning
gotta-
it can be changed before it's announced.
I don't think he'll be wrestling for the Universal Championship.
He never lost it.
He doesn't want Goldberg and Lesnar. He doesn't.
We talked about that last
Yeah.
week. I'm not going to let you bury yourself with that conversation again.
You honestly think he'd have a chance? A week has gone by. You haven't rethought
Did Rey
your
Mysterio
thoughts?
have a chance against Kevin Nash?
Yes, he did.
Did he have a chance to win the Royal Rumble
Do you
when
know
he won
why
it?
Rey Mysterio beat Kevin Nash?
Why
Because
did-
the night before he lost his mask, and it was their
Okay.
way of giving him good business.
Okay, so a similar story couldn't be created with Finn Balor.
Finn Balor's not going to lose his mask.
A similar story, emotion couldn't be created to make the match make sense with Finn Balor. You were for it before you were against it.
For what?
Small men versus big men.
When?
Before you were against it. Which is currently.
Mr.
Sessions.
Where do you put him?
That's what I'm asking you.
That's what
That's
I'm
the
telling
topic
you.
at
There's
hand.
no spot for him.
I don't know. That's the thing. I have no idea where you go with
can't
him.
put him with Kevin Owens because he's with Jericho.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Assuming he loses on Sunday, which we'll hear and be the booker,
even
what
if
your
he-
story
even
is.
if he doesn't, it's Jericho and Owens. Has to be.
Okay?
Okay. Then you got Roman Reigns and Taker. They're not going to work with,
Another unannounced match.
but it's going to happen. Finn Balor and Roman Reigns aren't going to have a rematch when Finn Balor beat him on Raw over the summer. Mm-hmm. Taker is not going to want to work with Finn Balor. Mm-hmm. You know,
Well, Taker, I don't think he would work with anybody of that talent caliber.
no,
Meaning he can't keep up at this point.
No, but that's the guy he would want because Finn Balor can create motion for him.
Yeah,
Because
sure,
he
good
does
point.
a lot of flips and he jumps around and everything.
Elbow drops and such.
Yeah. Braun Strowman's not going to work with Finn Balor. Maybe Sami Zayn. Sami
Yeah.
Zayn and Finn Balor.
All right, let me rephrase the question that still hasn't been answered. Do they have enough time in the 25 days or so they're going to
there's
have to
plenty of
build
time.
something
Of
with
course,
Finn Balor?
They could, but there's nowhere for him to go.
Can Finn Balor
He
be
should-
on the
he-
same major show card as an Undertaker given their entrances?
If you're going to go off of entrances, well, the Boogeyman can do that too.
Who's better entrance-wise, Boogeyman or Finn Balor?
Finn Balor's is better.
Really? That's the first compliment you've ever given Finn
Well, it's
Balor.
only because
Congratulations, David Hero. You appreciate a talented
It's
individual.
only because it's more audience participation. People in the front row aren't going to have worms in their mouth.
But perhaps they could.
Would you?
No, I don't eat protein.
Exactly. So, Finn Balor will just re-debut after WrestleMania.
That's the conclusion. But I think the story really here is neither you nor I can figure out what to do with him, which will make whatever they do with him great.
Which means they won't do anything with him. If we can't figure it out.
If Finn Balor does come back, will he come back on Monday night, do you think, on Raw?
In Chicago?
Yeah. If he's ready, why not?
They don't need him right now.
Do they not?
They do not.
Do
need
they
him.
not need
No, they
everybody going into
do
WrestleMania?
not. They didn't have John Cena last year. They didn't
They-
have Seth
but they-
Rollins
they
last
couldn't.
year.
They
didn't
couldn't.
have Randy Orton last
They
year.
couldn't.
And they still pulled off WrestleMania.
Okay, you sat there for that 5 hours
It
of
was
WrestleMania,
100,000 people. They pulled it off.
including the ushers and the janitors and
It
the
doesn't-
suite
okay,
attendants.
even if it was 80,000 people.
Fine, but what I'm saying is, are you telling me that that was still a good
Finn
WrestleMania last
Balor's
year?
not going to sell that many more tickets.
You're so dead wrong in that regard. And it's not about selling
So
tickets,
you
it's
mean
about
to tell
selling
me
network
because
subscriptions.
Finn Balor's not on the show, people aren't going to buy a ticket to
No,
go
I'm
to
not saying that.
WrestleMania?
I'm saying if he is on the show, people will be more inclined to participate in it.
No.
He's a former world
You
champion.
watch.
Braun Strowman isn't.
He will be.
Not by WrestleMania or at WrestleMania.
Now I lost my train of thought because
You didn't have one.
It was really good.
Train's still sitting in the station. Never left. Hasn't left in about 12
It's
years.
been a train wreck. That's why.
What will Finn Balor's role at WrestleMania be, if any? I think he will have a prominent role on the show. I just don't know where they go with it. So that means I at least am intrigued by what they do with a Finn Balor if he does return to
How
Raw
can
on
you
Monday
say
night.
he's going to have a prominent role if we can't even find a match for him?
Okay. So there are several, we've talked about WrestleMania a lot, and there are several scenarios that have been talked about that have and haven't come to fruition.
Give him Samoa Joe if you want to.
There's a story there, right? Mm-hmm. And not really. Joe came in after Balor got called up, didn't he?
I don't remember.
No, he beat Joe for the belt. Joe beat Balor for the belt.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Could be something there. That's interesting, because what do you do with Joe? Assuming what we'll talk about in Raw happens.
You got to figure Seth Rollins will be there.
Does Joe and Zayn go again after this Sunday? Because that talk about great wrestling matchups. That's what that's going to be.
I don't think Sami Zayn
Here we go.
means as much right now as he did a year ago to get that high caliber of a match with Samoa Joe.
Well, folks, we'd love to hear your comments and
roll
thoughts.
your eyes at me?
I didn't roll my eyes. I went back to the main camera to close this segment out as we are out of time.
Carry on.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments on what if Finn Balor is a part of WrestleMania, and what do they do with Finn Balor to make you care that he's a part of WrestleMania? Go ahead and submit those comments right here by commenting on this video on YouTube or following us on Twitter at PWR Show on Twitter.
Coming up next on Primetime, it's this week's Raw Report, Smackdown Report, Hot News, and the 3 Count.
The biggest party event of WrestleMania weekend is back. WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash presents Shenanigans Orlando. Join Nash and his friends for a huge VIP party Saturday, April 1st. Party with the biggest stars of wrestling at the pub at Point Orlando on International Drive to kick off WrestleMania weekend. Don't miss Shenanigans Orlando, hosted by Kevin Nash. Tickets are available now and going fast at PWRshow.com. That's PWRshow.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report's Prime Time here from Casablanca on Brady, David Hero. Casablanca on Brady here in Milwaukee.
Not the one in Brookfield. That opens up in May.
Opening up soon. Casablanca expanding their empire. What role did you have in that, David Hero? I know that you are
I think we've
frequent
all
guest.
had a role in it because we've spent a lot of money here over the years.
Yes, indeed. Very exciting times for Casablanca on Brady, our filming facility here in the Milwaukee. By the way, David Hero, we are a mere stone's throw, depending on how big the stone is, from the BMO Harris Bradley Center, where Fastlane occurs this Sunday on pay-per-view. Later on in this broadcast, as you heard earlier, we'll have Be the Booker for that event, where we fantasy book Fastlane, which is going to be interesting because the card's not real strong. But anyways, it's time for this week's WWE Raw Report, and big things coming out of Raw this past Monday night, specifically Seth Rollins making his first appearance since his injury of a few weeks ago on Raw, and indicating that he's not sure whether or not, he's not sure whether or not he's going to be a part of WrestleMania in Orlando, Florida. And then he was challenged by Triple H, who, ran him down as only Triple H can on the microphone, which then led Seth Rollins to say, you know what, Triple H? I will see you at WrestleMania. I will be at WrestleMania. It seems as if this match is made.
He didn't say he was wrestling at WrestleMania.
He didn't. They're being very non-committal with this because do they know if Seth can go on April 2nd?
No one knows. At least not right now. And if they do, it's the best kept secret since Eric Bischoff came up on Raw.
Tell me I didn't just see that. Do you think he's going to be good to go?
Yes.
So why are they being so non-committal then?
Because they want the complete underdog babyface. They want him to come in battered and bruised, the old Spirit of 76.
So it's a good story regardless right now, correct? Don't know whether or not Seth can do it. Maybe Seth shouldn't do it, but Seth really wants to do it, so Seth's going to take that chance to do it, and Triple H doesn't care because he just wants to kill Seth.
Because now the heel has the advantage because the babyface is hurt.
Think about if Seth is at 92% in that matchup, how absolutely tremendous that wrestling contest bell-to-bell will be.
The only challenge will be is Seth Rollins likes to do a lot of jumping. And that knee is battered and bruised.
He's got to change his style because after the last injury, we noted here on this program that Seth did not substantially change his style, thus keeping him at risk for another injury, and he was injured again.
The way Joe fell on him is what blew out his knee.
You're right, but the knee was vulnerable.
Yes. But Triple H can work around that. He's that good.
He is that good, absolutely. So if it boils down to not a match at WrestleMania, but a confrontation, does that have the same value?
Remember Bret Hart and Vince McMahon when Bret just beat Vince with a chair for like 18 and a half minutes?
Ooh, WrestleMania 26. That was,
brutal.
Horrible.
So I would envision Triple H working the knee the entire match.
Seth just takes a beating.
Yes.
Doesn't have to do anything but win.
And then makes the the big comeback in the end.
Interesting. Interesting.
See, I just booked it for you.
Yeah, I'm glad that was easy. Still waiting for what Finn Balor's doing.
Nothing.
He will be doing something at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
do you want to put it out there to the peeps and have them decide? Have them give their opinion?
God, no. You know what? They'll probably do a backstage segment, you know, like what they used to do when they have like all the legends and stuff in the background, so they all get a
There you go.
payday.
See, what he's doing, folks, is he's saying that Finn doesn't matter and saying Finn is
No,
one
he
of
does
those
matter.
guys who just needs a cameo on the show.
You're saying Sergeant Slaughter doesn't matter?
No, I'm saying they're in
That's
different
kinda what you're
categories. They're not
implying.
going to wrestle a matchup because they're beyond that time. So, yes, they get the WrestleMania cameo, if you will, but Finn Balor is much beyond. Why do you hate Finn Balor?
I don't
What
hate
did
him.
Finn ever do to you?
I don't hate him at all. I'm just saying there's no spot for him. You just can't create a match to book a guy.
You can't just create a match to book a guy.
Yeah.
So the company's not guilty of doing that on a regular basis?
No. What match would they just create so they can book somebody on the show?
Give me 5 minutes, I'll give you an example.
Well, we don't have that much time.
No, we do actually, not necessarily in this segment, but over the course of the show, we
Okay,
do have that
by
much
the end
time.
of the show, you and Kevin Federline does not count.
Folks, also on Raw this past Monday night, Kevin Owens and Goldberg had a confrontation leading in their matchup this Sunday at Fastlane. Owens very confident he's going to defeat Goldberg. Goldberg more confident that he's going to beat Owens on Sunday.
Goldberg looks great.
Does he?
I mean, he looks great. His ring presence is back. His promo was on point. Owens was great too. His promo was awesome.
2 weeks of greatness from
yeah.
him. It was promo week on WWE programming,
Well,
especially when we
because-
talk about SmackDown.
Because they need to sell the pay-per-view.
They need to sell. They need to merge asses with seats. Correct.
And it's for me that match is still a coin flip with Owens and
Really?
Goldberg. Yeah.
How so?
Well,
Goldberg can beat Brock Lesnar in under 2 minutes,
no,
but
no,
it's
no.
a coin flip between he and Owens?
Goldberg should beat Kevin Owens because he beat Brock Lesnar
Mm-hmm.
easily and then eliminated him from the Rumble easily. But do you make that your main event then, Goldberg and Lesnar for the title?
I
know what I
think you
mean?
do, because what's Fastlane's purpose, in addition to getting views on the network, to finally frame up WrestleMania?
Right, but Owens almost deserves to have that going into WrestleMania.
He's been champion longer than I think either of us would have thought he would
since
be, correct?
August, yeah. 8 months?
And I think we thought that both he and AJ Styles would be walking into Orlando as the champion for their respective brands. Now it's probable, not possible, that neither will. We know AJ won't,
Right.
but now we see that Owens probably won't either. Here's the thing, you talk about the posters, right? Is it not smartest, with the belt being a prop that you call it, for that WrestleMania poster to be Lesnar, Goldberg with the title between them?
Absolutely.
That's
It's
your money.
It's the two most recognizable guys in the last
Yeah.
20 years that are going to be on that show. You take Austin and Rock and Hogan and DX and Mankind out of it and Taker, yeah.
What about Dude Love and Cactus Jack?
They could be like a smaller pictures in the poster.
I got a question, David Hero,
Yes.
and we'll talk about this briefly. You know what? Actually, I'm going to move this to the 3 count. A question about Sasha Banks. We'll move that to the 3 count. We'll talk about that later as we're out of time
Okay.
here for Raw. And overall, your thoughts on this past Monday's presentation of WWE Raw?
It was a long 3 hours.
It was a damn long 3 hours. And once Goldberg came out, which was early in the broadcast, once Seth Rollins came out, which was in the middle of the broadcast, I sat there and said, am I going to sit here and wait for a Braun Strowman Roman Reigns contract signing?
Which was awesome.
Was it?
Yeah, it was brutal. It was a fight. It was old school. You don't like...
I'm still not buying the Braun Strowman Kool-Aid. I can't. I don't. It's something about him. I don't know what it is not
it the
believable to
beard?
me. Perhaps that is. Perhaps that is. Maybe it's all the gear. Something about Braun Strowman is not resonating with me.
Because he can't do a flip?
Maybe it's because he can't do an effective elbow drop.
He doesn't have to. He's 7 feet tall. Punch and kick.
It was a long 3 hours, but would you give the show a passing or failing grade for its effectiveness this past Monday?
It was a passing grade.
All
C
right.
minus.
Thank you for that, David Hero.
Coming up next on Primetime, it's this week's SmackDown report, hot news, the 3 count, and DHHS.
Welcome back, fans, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time here for March 2nd, 2017. Late night here on March 2nd, 2017. Damian Nelson sitting alongside the very adamantly, the person who very adamantly denies any conversations with Russia over the last 6 months, David Hero.
I haven't.
Do you want to make sure you think
like
about that
months.
closely?
Hasn't been 6.
David, let's talk about this past week's WWE Smackdown, the Blue Show from the USA Network and WWE this past Tuesday night. And wow, we talked extensively last week about the WWE World Heavyweight Championship situation and whether or not it would ultimately end up being something completely different than the journey we've been on for the last few weeks. As you know, this past Tuesday on SmackDown, the main event after the Battle Royal ending last week on SmackDown was AJ Styles versus Luke Harper. That match, of course, couldn't end without shenanigans on its own, as AJ beat Luke Harper twice. Once with his foot on the ropes, Luke Harper's that is, and then secondly, quickly thereafter, after Shane McMahon restarted the match and took a swift kick from Luke Harper inadvertently, then was defeated again, was Luke Harper by AJ Styles. Seemingly, AJ Styles is planted and cemented as the man going to WrestleMania to face Randy Orton. That match is made midway through SmackDown, but by the end of SmackDown, things would go completely kabuki-ish.
Luke Harper's awesome.
Luke Harper grew on me to this past Tuesday on SmackDown.
Him and AJ had a great match. AJ's fantastic. I honestly thought it was going to be a draw, like I said last week. I thought it'd be
which is good. It was a journey.
Yeah,
it took the end of the match especially took us on a journey.
Because you thought, oh, okay, well, AJ cheated, and now he's going to lose. And that didn't happen either.
Mm-hmm.
But Luke Harper he needs to be a singles guy.
Yes.
You know? It'll be interesting when Eric Rowan comes back eventually.
Who's been cleared to
injury.
return as far as we have been able to ascertain. But
I don't like them switching Randy so quick.
well, it was an abrupt
Or
switch,
this
and let's
soon.
tell you what happened. At the end of SmackDown, Bray Wyatt's in the ring talking about how great he is and how he's looking forward to his matchup with AJ Styles at WrestleMania until we see then Randy Orton from the House of, what do they call it?
House of Wyatt.
The House of Wyatt, is that what they call it?
That's what I'm going to call it.
The House of Wyatt, where he then says that his allegiance is no longer to Bray Wyatt, and he is at the burial site of Sister Abigail. Sister Abigail then, along with the House of Wyatt, burned to the ground after Randy Orton says he wants his championship match at WrestleMania. Things are now very twisty in this championship scenario on SmackDown because historically looking at it, you know that Randy Orton relinquished his opportunity that he won by winning the Royal Rumble for the championship at WrestleMania. And now we've gone weeks and weeks of this journey between AJ, Harper, everybody else to get their shot at the championship because it was up in the air and anybody could have gotten it. What do you do now? Last week you had a scenario that might play out with several men involved in the match.
Here's the thing. If he gave up his title shot, how does he get it back?
Well, I think they may have cleaned that up because now Bray's going to be so pissed of what Randy did that he only wants Randy now at WrestleMania.
They should have waited. I still think they should have waited till Mania to do it.
I don't think we saw anything Orton Wyatt on the broadcast until Orton was shown on the screen denouncing Bray Wyatt, basically, his relationship with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
It was very abrupt.
They should have waited till Mania and done the switch there during the match. Randy should have said, hey, we'll make sure AJ doesn't win. We'll keep the belt with us, make it a triple threat. And then in the end, Randy turns on Bray Wyatt.
So here's my question. If it does end up being Orton Wyatt for the championship at WrestleMania.
It's a triple threat.
Here's my question. If it does end up being Orton Wyatt at WrestleMania, understanding there are several scenarios that can play out, then what does that mean for a Luke Harper or an AJ Styles if it is a singles match that they're not involved in?
Well, then
Where do they
AJ
go?
goes to work with Shane McMahon.
The story could have developed a little bit last night, or Tuesday night on SmackDown, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
And that is a waste of AJ Styles.
Really?
If you put him in the ring with Shane McMahon.
Was it a waste of Kurt Angle at the King of the Ring in 2000 whatever?
It's completely different.
How?
Because that was a last man standing match.
Okay. Does Shane McMahon, a lot of people are speculating that Shane McMahon will have a match at WrestleMania. Why? Why is it that people expect that Shane will have a match at WrestleMania? Just because he had one last year?
Yes.
They needed Shane McMahon at
They
WrestleMania
did,
last
yeah.
year. They don't need
No,
Shane
they
McMahon
don't.
this year.
They're better off putting Finn Balor in that spot.
And if Shane doesn't jump off the top of something, I heard that, and they did too. If Shane doesn't jump off the top of something, his performance this year will pale in comparison to last year.
He can't have a match after last year's match.
Yeah, kids came out with him. It was a moment. Why bother? Why does Shane need to wrestle at WrestleMania? Keep in mind, I'm a Shane McMahon mark. I would love to see him wrestle and take those chances in Daredevil Dive at WrestleMania, but I just don't see why he needs to. He's not an active performer. They don't need that spot filled by him.
And you can't do that match with AJ Styles. There's no reason to have it.
Well, let's rephrase. You can do that match with AJ Styles.
Why?
But why would they?
You?
Exactly.
Why would you?
Exactly. Interesting, folks. Who do you think? You say you think it's going to be a three-way dance at
Yes.
WrestleMania. Who's the third man? Luke Harper or AJ Styles?
AJ Styles. He won the match.
Styles, Orton, Wyatt.
Yeah.
Eesh.
I like it.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Why?
I like AJ Styles.
I love AJ Styles.
I think him and Randy have a great match. I think him and Bray Wyatt have a great match. I think they can do a whole lot of shenanigans with those three guys.
I also like it being a three-way
Really.
matchup at WrestleMania.
I think that's the best way to go. And then AJ can leave as the champ.
Well, also on SmackDown this past Tuesday night, another moment of microphone brilliance from several talents. John Cena, The Miz, Maurice, and even Nikki Bella. Talk about passion, talk about meaning,
You think it's
talk
a
about
letdown?
desire.
You think it's a letdown, though?
Not after Tuesday.
Really?
I was sold on the matchup on Tuesday. The matchup being the rumored tag team matchup between John Cena and Nikki Bella versus Maurice and The Miz. Here's the thing. I may get heat for this, if you will, David Hero, but I don't care. As I watched The Miz, who you know I endorsed in 2011 before he came WWE champion and went on to main event WrestleMania, defeating John Cena in Atlanta at WrestleMania 27. As I watched him in the ring on Tuesday, I saw a glimmer of somebody who, if you took The Miz that was standing in that ring on Tuesday and rewound back to 1989.
Oh my gosh. You better pump the brakes.
Back to 1989, that The Miz is as good presentation-wise as Ric Flair ever was. Presentation-wise.
Did you hear that?
I'm not saying his
Did you hear
in-ring.
that?
I'm not saying
Did
his
you hear
in-ring
that?
skills are as good.
That was
I'm
all
not
the
saying.
keyboards typing right now to you.
I'm not saying he's as good in the ring as Ric Flair. I'm not saying he's as big a star as Ric Flair. But how could you not look at The Miz, dressed to the nines, looking great, feeling so confident about himself? And by the way, meaning everything he says. How can you look at that and not see at least a glimmer of reflection of Ric Flair in The Miz? Keep in mind, Ric Flair endorsed The Miz and gave him the figure four leg lock several years back.
When was the last time you used it to win something?
That story played out.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I can see a little glimmer of hope, I guess, for yourself there, but
Is there anyone else closer to Ric Flair today than The Miz in the business? I think the answer is no.
Kevin Owens?
His suits are not tailored.
Oh, we're going that way. But
Presentation. That was the preface I said. Presentation-wise, you could put The Miz and Ric Flair on a split screen today and yesterday, and it's a striking comparison. Not
Okay,
physical
sure. I see it.
looks,
I
but
see it. I
presentation,
see it.
which matters.
as long as Miz isn't talking, he just sits there and stands.
As long as he isn't talking. So
long as he's in
the
his
man who
tailored
sat
suit.
here a couple of weeks ago and said that The Miz was better than he'd ever been in the business,
Exactly.
and that his promos are fantastic, is now taking that back. You
No,
never
I'm
said
not.
that?
I did say that. I
Okay.
don't remember saying it,
You
but
just
I'm sure I did.
You just said, as long as he's not talking. He is excellent. He could be the best on the microphone next to John Cena on SmackDown right now.
He could be. Sure.
Why are you so hesitant? Why don't you undo this? You still feeling bitter
No.
from the 2012 championship run of The Miz?
No, because it's The Miz.
Everything he said to John Cena on Monday had a shred of truth to it.
What was the biggest
And a
truth
shred,
you heard?
the biggest?
Yeah.
About the fact that he went in to, now what he said, and it's interesting because what he's actually praising John Cena for doing this. John Cena, Superman, blah, 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 blah. Yet he went into WrestleMania 27, defeated John Cena,
The
and then a
Rock
couple of weeks
defeated
later.
John Cena.
No. Here, let me finish. What he was actually saying was, John Cena, you're Superman, you manipulate everything in the back so nobody could ever beat you, yet
The Rock beat him at 27.
the record books show what, David Hero? If you go to the Wikipedia page for WrestleMania 27 right now,
Miz won after The Rock bottomed John Cena.
who's got the W in the column? The Miz, the WWE champion at the time.
Yeah. That's okay. What's that dude's name with Carmella?
That dude's name was
Ellsworth.
Carmella. James
He
Ellsworth.
has 2 W's over AJ Styles.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters
Okay.
in the record books.
All right.
You know,
That's
official.
what Finn Balor could work with. Ellsworth. They're both great gimmicks right now.
your hatred
It's
and
not
your
hatred.
your
I'm
your,
just-
your
I'm just-
condescending
you know what?
tone towards
You've had over 5 minutes.
superstars that
You've
the
had
fans
over
love.
You've had over 5 minutes to think of a match that was created for someone to get booked.
Oh, no. You said by the end of the broadcast. This broadcast is only halfway through.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, we are going to, you know what? You've got me flustered now because of your continued hatred
You're
for
right
Finn
here.
Balor.
It's this gimmick.
I know where I am. I'm just wondering whether or not I want to go into the next segment or take a break to cool off a moment, which I'm going to do before we come back. So, you know what?
Yes. What?
You've had to look at him for the last 10 minutes. Let's look at someone much more beautiful, Linda Kay.
Coming up next on Primetime, it's this week's Event Center, Hot News, the 3 Count, and DHHS.
The biggest party event of WrestleMania weekend is back. WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash presents Shenanigans Orlando. Join Nash and his friends for a huge VIP party Saturday, April 1st. Party with the biggest stars of wrestling at the pub at Point Orlando on International Drive to kick off WrestleMania weekend. Don't miss Shenanigans Orlando, hosted by Kevin Nash. Tickets are available now and going fast at PWRshow.com. That's PWRshow.com.
It's time for this week's Event Center. I'm Linda Kay. This Sunday, WWE makes its huge return to Milwaukee at Fastlane at the BMO Harris Bradley Center. Tickets are still available at Ticketmaster.com. And WrestleMania weekend, we bring you the biggest party in Orlando, the Shenanigans Party, hosted by Kevin Nash. Tickets are available at PWRshow.com. And Ring of Honor also makes its return to Milwaukee on April 28th at Turner Hall. Tickets are available at patstheater.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. You know, here's the thing, David Hero. I've been talking to the who's who in the professional wrestling journalism industry, if you will, about
Who is that?
working with us, very few people, by the way, working with us on our coverage on Fight TV of WrestleMania from Orlando, Florida, which means I'm in discussions with people who could take your spot. And after your continued bashing
I have a
of...
guaranteed deal.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Who gave you this guaranteed deal?
Ron Sikowski.
He was released from the company several months ago.
Yeah, but he still
anything he
it.
signed doesn't matter. It's like Enron with him.
That bad?
So, have you even gotten paid?
Whoops.
I may just have to make some considerations. We'll see after WrestleMania. Maybe WrestleMania will be everybody else's tryout. Because first of all, I'm not sure, given your behavior the last couple of years, you're going to make it to WrestleMania
how do you
Sunday
figure?
with the Shenanigans Party a Saturday night, WrestleMania
I
Eve.
made it last year.
Oh, you made it last year?
I did.
Did you make it last year? Or did somebody make it home for you? Make sure that you got home safe the last couple of years. Is that true?
The Uber driver was fantastic.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
How did I get home last year? Was that an Uber car?
I'd have to ask her, and I don't remember her name. So.
6 weeks on the dresser. Just I don't know.
You know, folks, we've been talking to you for weeks about our exciting monthly unboxing, if you will, of our WWE Loot Crate.
Yes.
And we've got another Loot Crate, David Hero. And of course, you can go to lootcrate.com/PWR. Order your very own Loot Crate box that just comes shipped to your front door, and you get 10% off your order. And we've had some great things
We've had some
in our
tremendous
boxes in the past. So I'm going to give us an opportunity to go ahead and open our box. As you see, it comes in this nice fancy
That's very
container here,
fancy.
WWE Loot Crate box. You don't know what's in it until you get it, but you're going to love what's in it when you get it. So, David, here, I'm going to give you the opportunity to open this.
I get to do it?
Yeah, we're going to do this over the course of the next couple of segments. We're going to move into...
You got your knife?
We're going to move into... I can't carry it anymore. It's a long story. We're going to move into the hot news segment here, and you know...
now?
Yeah, just as you go, let's. Now you got it
my
open. I thought it'd
goodness.
take you about 20 minutes to open the box.
No, I'm good at that.
Hey, look at this. People we've been talking about.
Look at this. You got the metal die cast of the People's Champ, The Rock. Look at that.
You smell it?
In the back, you got AJ, Kevin Owens, Bailey. So we got the best one of the four. This is the biggest star in Hollywood.
He is. Yes, he is.
What?
No, you just with those damn jabs. You just keep on. You just jab. You jab. You think you can win by jabbing, where everybody else takes a knockout punch to the face. You jab, and now you're distracted because you.
There's a lot of shiny things in here. Look at that's freaking shiny.
What's in it, though, Dave? What are you talking about? Yes, that's the point of this box. While you do that, folks, look at this. We have Rebuild and the Architect. Seth Rollins. You get a Seth Rollins T-shirt. Now, the value of this box alone is less than what you would have to pay for this Seth Rollins T-shirt. The cost, rather. The value, obviously, much higher. But the cost of this shirt alone,
at least $15.
More than you'd have to pay
to
$25. Get this Seth Rollins T-shirt. What size is this? This is medium? Yes, I'm keeping this. Actually, I can't.
It's medium.
Because we're giving all this away,
Why?
Tomorrow on Feedback Friday.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a big mistake. And it's trading cards. John Cena, Charlotte, Kevin Owens.
Is there a Finn Balor?
No. Obviously, there's no room for him at WrestleMania.
What is this? Lapel pin, it looks like, for WrestleMania, for the Winged Eagle version of the WWE Championship. I'm sure we all remember that, and Robin Leach drunkenly stumbling down the aisle with it at WrestleMania 4.
It's a fanny pack.
Oh, that's fantastic.
This is fantastic.
A WWE Championship belt
fanny
pack. That says a lot about... That says a lot.
Back in the late 90s, this was considered a walking pharmacy.
David Hero. It was It was a man purse before man purses were things.
How about
this?
That?
Is great. What did the side plate say? That is real nice, folks. I can't keep this either. Shoot. We should open these up before we decide if we're giving them away.
And this is the fold-out. You get a poster of the Dead Man, the Phenom.
Oh, look at that! Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, from his WrestleMania New York entrance, I believe that was.
And you got a interview with your favorite diva, Charlotte Flair.
6'2" and biggest women's star there is in professional wrestling today. Let's go ahead and leave this stuff out here on display.
It's a distraction.
Again, all of this comes in your Loot Crate box, your WWE Loot Crate box, lootcrate.com/PWR for 10% off your order.
Didn't we get these in Orlando?
From whom? We got one from the Hard Rock in Orlando.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, our friends at the Hard Rock Cafe at Universal Orlando.
Whoops.
Again, winner to be announced tomorrow night by Linda Kay on Feedback Friday of who wins this very Loot Crate box. And now that we've just shown everybody who's in it, David Hero, let's make sure everything that is in it goes back in it for our winner to be announced tomorrow. It's up to you if you choose to walk out with any of this stuff, including the fanny pack or the walking pharmacy.
I wear men's sizes t-shirts, not kids.
All right, thank you so much to our friends at Loot Crate, and let's move now into hot news. You're carrying the show so long this week. So long.
I usually carry the show.
So yeah, right out the door is what you normally carry this show. But it's hot news now, ladies and gentlemen.
We're
and David
down here
Hero,
now?
yeah, we're down here now, but we can't even get to hot news yet because we're sort of glazing over the fact that Linda told us in the event center about Shenanigans earlier on. And a big thing has been added to Shenanigans come April 1st at WrestleMania weekend, over WrestleMania weekend in Orlando, Florida, at the pub at Point Orlando. Are you ready for this, David Hero? Some of this is going to be new to you. Let's first talk about some of the evening's events that are going to occur at Shenanigans. And we're going to be celebrating with, the event goes from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Mm-hmm. And we all know it's Al Snow's bachelor party that night as well. It's legit his bachelor party before his marriage coming up this summer. And at 11 o'clock p.m., we're going to be celebrating with some Al Snow bachelor party shots. David Hero, absolutely, yes.
What are those going to be called?
Head. So everybody at 11 o'clock will get head at Shenanigans.
You can't beat that.
And celebration of Al Snow's bachelor party. But it doesn't stop there, because remember last year, David Hero, where there's video that I recently found that maybe we'll play during this show. Do I have it? Where do I have it? I have that video. Hell, we'll play it. Why not? We're gonna play that video here in just a moment. But at midnight, we're gonna do exactly what we did last year. For those of you that were there,
video.
SoCal Val, my co-hostess with the mostest of part of our WrestleMania coverage, is going to be there again to host the Midnight Fireball shot. Everybody in attendance is going to be expected to join us with a shot of Fireball at midnight. Yes, there is a theme to this party, and that will be...
That's when things get out of control.
Hosted by SoCal Val. That was the turning point last year, wasn't it, David Hero?
Yeah, because then it was raining glass after that.
It was in some parts of the facility. And then at 1 o'clock a.m. or sometime around then, a big surprise that I will not reveal, but courtesy of Kevin Nash himself, a big surprise to be revealed at 1 o'clock a.m. as part of the Shenanigans party in Orlando, Florida. That's a VIP party. Hundreds of people will be in attendance at the biggest party event that has become a staple of
It
WrestleMania
is
weekend.
the only place you can go to party with talents from WWE, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Lucha Underground. They're all going to be there.
Absolutely. You never know who you're going to see. We're going to have, by the time this thing comes, we're going to have, about 20, 25 names, if not more, announced. There will be at least a dozen more stars there that will not be announced. And quite frankly, after the
least a
party,
dozen.
won't be talked about
No.
because maybe they shouldn't have really been there
They
per
never
their
should have
company's
been there,
rules.
yeah.
But big name to be revealed this week, David Hero. Addition to the party that we have not yet announced, and a big opportunity for people who go to the party to get something that they never will have the chance to get again. Legendary WWE superstar Mean Gene Okerlund joining us again this year.
Yes.
At Shenanigans,
Count of
Orlando.
ones for everybody.
He's going to be on our tab, so let's not do the everybody part.
Your tab.
You're right, yes. But David Hero, think about it. Picture it. Orlando, Shenanigans, April 1st.
Yes.
April Fool's You've got the world legend Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yes.
You've got all these great wrestling fans there. What if they had the chance, David Hero, to get their own interview by Mean Gene Okerlund at Shenanigans?
Oh, that'd be fantastic. That'd
Mean
be great.
Gene with the stick, standing against the backdrop, and you in the big lights. Getting your chance at a recorded interview, a video interview that you get to bring with you, home with you, from Shenanigans, an
and
interview
you
with
know
Mean
if
Gene Okerlund.
Gene's there, a few cocktails in them.
Uh-huh.
Could be some of the best promo work ever.
Ever seen, folks. Best stuff you've ever seen. So, speaking of best stuff you've ever seen, so Al Snow's bachelor party, Kevin Nash hosting, dozens of wrestling stars, interviews, pre-tapes with Mean Gene, I guess you can
Yeah,
call it.
you can't
with
beat that.
Mean Gene Okerlund. SoCal Val's Midnight Shot. It doesn't get any
No,
better
it does not.
than Shenanigans. As a matter of fact, let's show you what happened last year at midnight when SoCal Val took over the Iron Cactus in Dallas, Texas.
We party. You guys ready to party? All right. Everyone say hi to Lisa, Victoria. Nobody parties like Victoria. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time. We want you to go to the bar right now and get yourself a fireball shot. Go get your fireball shot, guys. Let's hear it. Fireball, 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 fireball.
So there it was. There, David, you were mysteriously absent from that video. We saw SoCal Val, we saw Victoria, we saw several other wrestling stars. Everybody had their glass up. Great DJ that we had. I think her name was
Yes.
Beth, down in Dallas, Texas. It just shows you a sampling of what the night is, folks.
We had to
Shenanigans.
turn at least 100 people away.
Absolutely, and that's the point that needs to be made: is get your tickets now. PWRshow.com. They are moving rapidly. We're selling at twice the pace that we sold tickets last year, and we sold out 3 weeks in advance of the event last year. So don't wait. Go to PWRshow.com right now. Get your tickets for Shenanigans, the VIP party hosted by Kevin Nash, where the party starts at 10 and ends, if you make it, till 2 a.m.
And there's Uber.
Oh, there are Ubers. But that's the good thing. We are literally right on International Drive, right next to the Hyatt Hotel where WrestleCon is occurring, and all up and down the
People can
where
stumble
many of
home.
You are going to be staying. Your hotel is within walking distance of the pub at Point Orlando. So be sure to get in where you fit in there, ladies and gentlemen. So, with that, David Hero, now let's, 8 minutes later, get into hot news.
That's not my fault.
This is going to be we've got some discussion to have because this past Thursday night on Impact Wrestling, we saw a lot of new, but there's a lot more new and a lot less old in TNA as of now, as we can report to you because they've made it public themselves. Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Drew Galloway, Maria Kanellis, Mike Bennett, all gone, finished with Impact Wrestling as of earlier this week.
And that's a huge blow to that talent roster. I don't know if that was good business.
Minus EC3, Bobby Lashley, those were their top talents for the most part, right?
Yes. Yeah. And there's a big opening for guys to step up now.
And one of those guys that we saw that might be filling that big opening is Alberto Del Patron.
Yes.
El Patron.
Yeah.
Who's now part of Impact Wrestling.
How about that?
Yeah, he's a big name. Big get, good get.
I
Jeff
don't
Jarrett.
know if it's
And Team
good
Impact.
for Impact.
Really? Why not? Here we go.
Who's he going to work with?
I don't know this to be true completely. We're actually taping this while Impact is broadcasting. You've only seen parts of it. But other rumored returns, Magnus and Matt Morgan as well.
Right.
Two great names, big names that could definitely make an impact.
Magnus, a
on
former
Impact Wrestling.
Impact World Champion. Matt Morgan is a beast of a giant.
Absolutely.
You know, it's very weird. You built Impact around the Broken Hardys for the last 6 months or a year.
I mean, they had their own themed episodes of the show.
Yes, and you just let them leave.
Well, let's talk about that. And the reports are that the Hardys were committed to a new deal, had agreed verbally to a new deal with the company. Obviously, the company's been in turmoil over the last few months, so one could argue that perhaps some of this contract stuff slipped and didn't get as the attention it deserved. But they say that they felt disrespected by the negotiations and the way the contract negotiations were handled, and ultimately, when presented a deal which may or may not have included their creative control clause that they had in the past, they felt it was time to move on.
And you know what? They're going to be back in WWE. They'll be there.
Here's the question there, and I don't disagree with that because there's been public interest expressed in them. But do they get the Dudley treatment, which wasn't a bad treatment, when the Dudleys came back for that 12-month run and made the tag team division great again?
No.
So what do you do with
I think
Hardys that are over 40 or near 40?
I think that they'll be competitive. I think they'll get victories. They might get one more run as the tag champs, but it's a different tag team. I mean, that was WWE's creation, was the Hardy Boys.
Absolutely.
The Dudleys were ECW.
True.
You know.
But the Dudleys played a key purpose.
They did.
And they were needed to do so at that time. I wouldn't say that the Hardys are needed to play that same role.
But
at
now
this time.
think about it a year later with what the Dudleys did. Did it really help? Did it really elevate?
I don't think it
Enzo and
immediately
Kaz?
did, but I think it long-term did for the tag team division. I think it did.
Okay.
I think it did. I think they also helped in the establishment and the building of the New Day.
Now, Bully Ray was supposed to be on Impact.
Oh, what is this? I didn't read that.
It's on your
Do you
notes.
have intel? You have scoop?
And that changed also, last minute. So you know,
Well, in his last days in TNA, it's no secret Bully Ray was lobbying heavily to become part of the creative process. It was already playing a role, but wanted a more prominent role in part of the creative process of the company. And there's no doubt he could do it. He's great at it. I found it interesting. There must be something there. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you do know about how Devon got that role with WWE. He's a producer of WWE and has produced some of their shows. Yet Bully Ray did.
maybe Bully Ray didn't want it.
Could be. So he was holding out this opportunity with TNA.
No, maybe he didn't want to be a suit and tie guy.
Yeah.
Can you
No, that
imagine
goes
Bully
over in
Ray
51,
being a
50.
suit and tie guy?
I mean,
Every
he
week?
could be if he needed to be, I'm sure.
He made a lot of money.
Okay, our dear friend Road Dogg, would you ever imagine him being a suit and tie guy?
Not the guy we knew in the 90s. Absolutely not. But the guy today, yes.
Yes.
There's no doubt.
Yes. Overall, these changes, these talent changes, because talent is very important. It's the glue that holds the company together. When it is in large numbers like this that are coming and going, is this a good thing or a bad thing for Impact Wrestling? Or is it too quick to call?
Right now,
too soon to tell?
right now, it's not a good thing.
Not a good thing.
No.
They've got to reset. They've
Yes.
got to reinvent. But when you have an audience of 275 people watching TV last week, does it hurt them that bad? And I say that not to knock the company. It's a shame that the errors of Dixie Carter over the years has put them on a network that isn't a network. And everybody's suffering as a result of
Yeah,
it.
but now they're back on Spike over in the UK.
They did just sign a deal there in the UK with TNA Wrestling on Spike UK, which is great. Remember back in January they lost their challenge to and now they do have a presence there in the UK and also including as well.
Which is big. They do big numbers over there.
Absolutely. Well, our best of luck to those who have come and gone in TNA Wrestling. If we see the Hardys in WWE, when would it be?
The Monday after WrestleMania.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
There's no need to do it.
They're going to be in Orlando for WrestleCon.
They will be in Orlando for WrestleCon. Hey, have we ever seen a Jeff or a Matt Hardy at Shenanigans? Have we?
Oh, we've seen both of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Had they been announced as participants in advance? when they were
No,
there?
no.
Okay.
Did you send one of them home in an Uber once?
As a courtesy, I sent both of them home in an Uber. Yeah, the party was over. It was time to go.
It was over, wasn't
It
it?
ended. You know, there's this thing called, what is it, closing time?
Yes.
You have to go home, but you can't stay here.
And they could not stay there.
Do you know who you want to take you home?
The Uber driver.
Folks, also on the WWE side of things, Jack Swagger has announced his release from the company after asking for it. Said that the time was right. The time was right for him to go. We saw Jack Swagger after the draft for a couple of weeks on SmackDown, but really nothing since,
Him
or
and Baron
really
Corbin.
nothing too much before that. Jack Swagger, former World Heavyweight Champion, now
Two-time.
gone from WWE,
And you know
already booked on other shows as early as next week.
I really enjoyed Jack Swagger as a character, as an in-ring performer, as a good dude, and I think they missed the boat on him.
Yeah.
Because the matches he had with John Cena were fantastic.
Yep.
Very competitive.
We the People, the whole gimmick with
It was great.
Dutch Mantel
I mean,
was
the
great.
whole getting busted for weed, that kind of, stalled him out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, great talent. And you know what? He'll do great if he goes to Japan or Mexico or wherever he winds up, and he'll be a star there.
Folks, with that, it's now time to go into this week's 3 count. 3 topics, 3 minutes, 1 minute on each. And David Hero, the first topic this week is the latest entrant into the WWE Hall of Fame, Beth Phoenix. Your thoughts? Oh. Didn't know you hated her too.
No, I think Beth Phoenix is great.
She's a glamazon.
And I get it, people say Elizabeth, Luna Vachon, but they're dead, so you can't have all these dead Hall of Famers. But, she had a 7-year career, 6-year career.
Okay.
You think it's a good call?
I'm asking you.
You could have put Ivory in.
The video package was a hard sell for me. Even after seeing the video package, well, sometimes it's like, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, this makes sense. Not after that one. Not knocking her. Not knocking her at all.
No,
but
she-
remember, I didn't
was
agree
a-
with Edge going in either. I thought his career was too short and he hadn't accomplished as much as others who may have been more deserving.
Well,
He was a ratings ploy. He was a business decision, not
but
a
he
Hall of
also
Fame
was
decision.
one of the most decorated champions of all time.
Great.
Well, belts don't mean anything all of a sudden?
I didn't say they do. I didn't say they did. I just said when
I-
Edge went in, I didn't
I-
agree with that.
I was
I agree more. Well,
shocked.
Beth Phoenix is similar.
I was shocked on Beth Phoenix.
Trish is in. Lita's in. I mean, who else? If looking
Ivory?
at female specifically. Okay.
Victoria?
Yeah.
China?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't give her a live mic
Could've-
anymore.
Let's go on to our second topic, ladies and gentlemen, and that is going back to what we talked about a little bit on Raw earlier, what we sort of deferred to this segment. Is it right in front of us, but we don't see it yet? Is there a turn coming from Sasha Banks on her friend Bayley?
Or maybe Bayley turns on Sasha Banks.
Ooh. You just blew my mind.
But I could see Sasha doing it. She's the boss.
She's a little too lovey-dovey with Bayley right now, which doesn't necessarily fit her character.
No.
So why is she being so lovey-dovey with Bayley, knowing she still wants that
and the
championship?
kids love Bayley, so she's like the John Cena of the women's division. You really can't turn her. But yeah, it's coming. There's no doubt about it. It'll probably happen at WrestleMania.
Fastlane this weekend in her matchup.
She's too busy with Nia Jax.
Yeah, well, it's 2 separate matches. And Charlotte's 16-0 on pay-per-view.
Yes.
Here's the thing about that, the flaw with that. So she's 16-0 on pay-per-view. Why does she always lose on Raw then?
This is not pay-per-view.
A win's a win. If you want to win, keep your
You
championship.
win the
isn't it?
big matches. Pay-per-views are...
At this rate, she's going to be 16-time world champion like her dad by November.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me.
Finally, ladies and gentlemen, here in the 3 count, another name that we didn't talk about that is back with TNA in some capacity. But
Shocking.
Bruce
Very
Pritchard, the
shocking.
old brother love, former WWE employee and right-hand man to Vince McMahon.
Apparently he's going to be an on-air talent. He's going to be managing.
I mean, he's great.
No, exactly.
We all remember the Brother Love show,
But he's not Brother Love. He's Bruce Pritchard now.
which is the problem.
Which you have to introduce him as a manager. And it's kind of hard to sell.
Remember, he was on-air talent with the whole well, it wasn't
Gut
tough
check,
enough, the
gut
gut
check.
check thing with TNA, and nothing memorable happened with him on screen. But this is, do they need a Bruce Pritchard as an on-screen talent? On-air talent?
Yeah, because of his knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean, and he knows where all the bodies are buried.
Every last one of them.
So it's good to have a guy like that on your squad.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that is this week's 3 Count. Good job, David Hero. You hear that probably once a year, so I'm glad to get it out of the way now here in March.
Gotcha.
And with that, let's go to what David Hero has on his mind with this week's edition of DWHS. David Hero,
And it's
you are
all
able to
about
speak.
TNA Impact Wrestling. Thank God, first of all, they got rid of the owl off the logo.
They did debut a new logo.
That is great. But as much as I like Jeff Jarrett and what he is going to be doing
That's
with this
Jeff.
company. Yes,
JARRE.
T. I don't understand how you can let 4 of your top guys, Matt and Jeff and Drew Galloway, and I'll put Mike Bennett as upper card because he was upper card guy. You leave 4 main event talent. You let 4 main event talents leave and replace with 1 Alberto Del Rio. I'm going to call him Del Rio because that's who he is. Where's all the other money that you're saving? Who are you going to bring in? You know, your knockouts division has now been depleted. You lost another knockout in Jade.
Well, they're backed by a parent company again now, though, Anthem Sports and
right.
Entertainment.
So why not keep the Hardys, who are the Hardys are the only ones that draw money for them. They sell a lot of merchandise. I think it was bad business. I'm sure it will be explained over the next couple weeks. But you know, you don't let your golden goose that lays the golden eggs leave. Especially when you invest that much time and money in them over the last year. I don't get it. And of course, the Hardys don't even come back to drop the tag belts. Drew Galloway, who they've pushed to the moon for the last year, was doing way better now than he ever has been in his career as the chosen one.
Yeah.
You know?
Handpicked by Vince McMahon.
Handpicked. So I'm just hoping that Impact does not become Global Force Wrestling. Because those shows did not do very well when they toured. Okay? I'm just saying, TNA Impact Wrestling, everyone had, you know, a lot of high hopes and they loved the last set of TV tapings. Now you come back and your generals are gone. Now everything's on the shoulder of Moose, EC3, Bobby Lashley, Del Patron, and a bunch of other, and James Storm, okay? A lot of new faces to try to build. If you're going to tour, you want the Hardys on the poster. TNA Impact Wrestling has a lot of work coming up, and going into WrestleMania season when the most eyes are watching wrestling may have been a bad call. And with that, David Hero has spoken.
Thank you, David Hero. Well put. I'm glad to see that we're back to our weekly burial of TNA
It wasn't
Impact
a burial.
Wrestling.
You know, Jeff Jarrett and I, we're pals. We're buds.
He's been on this show many a time.
I want him to do well,
Absolutely.
but you don't let the Hardys go.
Here's the challenge with TNA. It's sort of like Sears and Kmart nowadays, right? Everybody used to go to Sears. That was the thing. You went to Sears, you got the catalog, you picked Christmas gifts out of it. They've had so many missteps over the last several years that you don't want to step foot in the store anymore. Even if they have the best thing ever, TNA's facing that same fate of there's just so much bad that's happened that it's going to be difficult for them to sell their good.
And the way that they're writing these new contracts is even worse. Because now they're trying to take merch out of it and everything. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It really is. This next week of TV tapings, I'm interested to see what all comes out of this.
Well, folks, thank you for that, David Hero. And you know what? This show has been moving. And we've got more, ladies and gentlemen.
More?
After this time out, yes. After this time out, it's Be the Booker for Sunday's Fastlane on the WWE Network.
At Gruber Law Offices, we understand that when you've been injured, life is tough. That's why we offer so many services for free. First call, free. First consultation, free. Stuck at home or in the hospital? We'll come to you for free. We'll deal with the insurance company for you and get you the help you need. Call Gruber Law Offices now. We don't get paid until you do, and your first consultation is always free.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report. Prime time. You know, I sometimes wish we had a roaming camera because there's so much that happens offset here that is just fantastic. Currently, right now, Linda is trying on
She is snapping.
some of the items from the Loot Crate box that we opened up earlier here that somebody's going to... So not only will whoever wins it tomorrow get their WWE Loot
They will
Crate
have
box,
Linda's DNA all over it.
oh, my. Makes it like an episode of Dateline Real Life Histories. Let's
Would you like
be the
some,
Booker, ladies and
what is
gentlemen.
it, cookies and lemonade?
Cream of some young... What? Cookies and lemonade?
Isn't that what they would say? What is that guy's name?
It's cookies and sweet tea.
That's not Dateline, that's a different show. Whoops.
Well, that was from Dateline.
To Catch a Predator.
With yes. What was his name? Chris Hansen. Anyways, folks, this is how the show is 48 minutes
You know,
so far.
cookies and sweet tea does not sound good together.
Well, they brought other things that they were going to use instead. Typically,
Oh, like
speaking.
garden hose, duct tape.
It's Be the Booker, where in this segment we fantasy book the upcoming pay-per-view event, ladies and gentlemen. In this case, it's WWE Fastlane coming to you from our hometown, our city, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee 316.
Which is going to be Sunday on the WWE Network. Let's get right down to it, David Hero, and let's talk about the matches as they have been prescribed. And what we do, what we are looking forward to hearing, at least some people out there are your reactions, your way you would book these matches. Let's start with your favorite, Nia Jax. Nia Jax going up against Sasha Banks,
And you know what?
the boss.
Nia Jax has had Sasha Banks' number lately. I don't know if it's going to continue, but Nia Jax has just been the most dominant woman in wrestling in the last couple months. And she's been fantastic. She's been killing people. You got to believe that Nia is once again, though, going to get the big victory. Just to get the sympathy on Sasha, I think...
You can move ahead if you'd like.
Oh, then I will.
Go ahead if you'd like.
Because I believe that Sasha might get involved in this match, which will then bring out Nia Jax to be involved in this match.
As we talked about earlier in the 3 count.
Which then Charlotte can then go 17-0.
17-0.
Okay.
She is the number 1 point getter in the PWR fantasy draft.
Amazing.
Overall.
Amazing.
Charlotte is.
And what's kabuki-ish about it is then it becomes... You have these two involved with these two, which then sets up WrestleMania in a fatal 4-way match with the 4 most highlighted women on the Raw brand.
And what they've done is taken a Bayley and a Nia Jax and escalated them to the level of a Banks and Charlotte to be worthy of being in that matchup.
And that's what they've done, yes.
Real good. Well done. All right, folks, next matchup is for the Tag Team Championships. Gallows and Anderson will defend their championships against the team of Enzo and Big Cass.
I don't know if there could be anything more obnoxious than having Enzo and Cass be the tag team champions. Wouldn't you agree?
I fast-forwarded through their entrance this past Monday night.
It's the same thing every week.
I can't. It was cool at first, but I can't anymore.
Gallows and Anderson need to keep rolling. They need to go into WrestleMania as the tag champs.
What do you do at WrestleMania with the tag team championship situation on
You
Raw?
have like 4 tag team way or something.
What do they call that? Tornado tag match?
Yeah.
Tornado tag match?
Yeah.
Interesting. You know what? But I think Enzo and Cass might have more of a chance than the reasonable answer of Gallows and Anderson continuing because they are animated champions, or could be animated champions, if you will.
I think it would be obnoxious.
There is no doubt about it, but a lot of people like obnoxious.
But New Day was obnoxious.
And still are in some people's...
Yes.
But you know what? They haven't gotten old. They're the same thing every week, too.
Yes.
I don't know why, and I'm not knocking at Enzo and Cass, but the New Day can get away with it, but Enzo and Cass can't. And I literally don't know the difference.
Here's part of the problem, is that it'd be cool if Cass would put over Enzo once in a while. He stands out there like he's this big badass, which he is. He's 7 feet tall, and of course you can't teach that. But it wouldn't hurt him if once in a while, when Enzo's cutting his promo to be funny, haha, where he breaks a smile on occasion.
He looks so damn nervous to be there.
You know?
I don't know if he can.
And I think that's what hurts.
But where New Day is very fluid, comfortable, and they play off of each other
They
incredibly
do.
well.
And
There's
these
a difference.
two don't.
Yeah. Your WrestleMania hosts aren't even on this card, actually. I just noticed the New Day.
Oh, now they're just my WrestleMania hosts?
I meant yours, our.
Oh, okay.
This
match will be interesting.
It is the Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Neville will defend against the Gentleman.
And you know what?
Jack Gallagher.
And I don't say this often. I'm going to enjoy that match.
Wow!
Because Neville.
From the launch of 205 Live, the Cruiserweight division on WWE programming, you have hated it. I have not liked it. Now you're saying you're going to enjoy
because
this
they've done
Cruiserweight
a
match?
great job of selling this story.
Jack Gallagher.
He's a great character.
He really is.
Jack Gallagher. That umbrella gimmick, I mean, it's a little too much Mary Poppins-ish for me, but it works. You know what I mean? Neville has never been better.
Never.
Right now.
Never.
And those two guys are going to go. God, I would like to believe Neville retains because I think he should because he's been that good.
He's the only person in the division who should be champion.
He's
right
very
now, right?
believable. Yes.
Yes.
And I think if they put it on Gallagher, now it's more cartoonish again.
And he's done after that point. He's achieved, and now he goes back to.
And let's not forget, Austin Aries is rumored to be coming to the 205 Live.
He has basically said as much.
I would like to see Neville and Austin Aries.
That's a WrestleMania match.
That would be a WrestleMania
That absolutely
match.
is a WrestleMania matchup.
Yeah.
Wow, maybe we should go long often.
No.
I mean, from what I understood, the shorter the show, the better you were. But now it seems like the longer the show.
Well, I've
Perhaps
always
you get
gone the distance in these kinds of situations. I'm a top guy.
Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is the endorsed Sami Zayn going up against Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
A match made this past
You
Monday
know
on
what?
Raw.
Samoa Joe. He has to. You can't have
He
him
can't
go out
lose.
there.
This is his first pay-per-view.
Now,
match.
he may lose by DQ, but he's not going to get beat.
It's gonna be a good match. Good.
Yes.
Good. It's gonna be fun getting there. Whatever happens.
Yeah.
Next up, David Hero. It is for the
Roman
there's nothing really at
Reigns.
stake except for pride. Roman Reigns going up against Braun Strowman. Your guy, Braun Strowman. Contract signing this past
This
Monday
is
night.
a tough match for me. I have a hard time calling this one.
Yeah.
Has Braun Strowman lost yet?
I don't believe he has. I could be mistaken.
And
but
they
I don't believe
haven't
he
they
has.
haven't done anything with that either. That he's been basically undefeated. I don't think he's been pinned.
Yeah.
It's a
Maybe
tough one.
they're waiting for that match that he seemingly can't win against I don't know who.
You know what? Maybe Taker shows up, middle of the ring, does something with Roman Reigns, but
Because that's got to get set up.
Braun Strowman defeats Roman Reigns at Fastlane.
You haven't picked a face yet.
Well, we still have the main event to go.
And that will be two face. Well, a face and a heel, but it's
Yeah.
face. That's a heel. That's a face. Of course, of course.
Goldberg and Owens.
I was
A
talking
year
about
ago-
famous Mr. Ed. But
Who are you calling the horse in that
a
one?
horse is a horse.
Yeah, I
of course,
know.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's you know that show?
Of course I
You know
do.
Mr. Ed?
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
How about that? Yeah.
So I got to go back to the 60s for shows you recognize.
Sure.
Because the 80s, we still don't know what happened to you in that period.
I know what happened.
Guantanamo?
Yes.
There and Harold and Kumar were there?
A year ago, if somebody would have told me we'd be seeing Kevin Owens versus Bill Goldberg in Milwaukee, headlining a pay-per-view for the
don't knock it.
biggest prize in wrestling.
Don't knock it. Do you remember the NWO reformed and Hulk Hogan
Of
returned
course,
to WWE
yes.
down the street at BMO Harris Bradley? So
Yes.
do you remember Austin 316
Yes.
was created down the street at the Mecca
I
Arena?
know, but good God
Do you remember when
Almighty!
the Mega Powers exploded
In
down the street
Milwaukee.
at the BMO Harris Bradley Center?
Yes, amazing. It's freaking amazing. WrestleFest, Hogan Andre in a cage at Country Stadium.
Yep. Country? County Stadium.
It's a difference. It's gone.
It's Kevin. Let me frame it because I didn't get a chance to yet. It's Kevin Owens defending the Universal Championship against Goldberg at Fastlane on Sunday. That is indeed a WWE Championship matchup. Here is where the odds are in this matchup. Goldberg defeats Owens to go into WrestleMania as the champion, making the stakes of the matchup between he and Brock Lesnar that much higher, that much bigger, that much more important on the grandest stage of them all. However, you've got a Kevin Owens who has been a phenomenal champion in WWE, who seemingly has a date with his former best friend Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. None of that, though. None of that.
You
is
have to
solid.
wonder, though, does Lesnar get involved in this match to make sure Goldberg is the champ going in there? Does Chris Jericho magically reappear in Milwaukee to make sure Kevin Owens loses his most valued possession?
There could be some validity to that Jericho.
There
scenario,
is
right?
going to be shenanigans in this match, and here's why. You can't have Goldberg beat Kevin Owens clean, because then it kills Kevin Owens off. There has to be someone that gets involved in this match.
126.
Yeah, I understand.
And less in the Royal Rumble, the elimination of Brock Lesnar by
Right.
Goldberg. Kevin Owens can't go longer than any of that.
Yes, he can.
He shouldn't go on
But he
and do
will.
any of that.
Because he is a student of the game. He will have scouted Bill Goldberg. He'll know what to look for.
I think that damages Goldberg.
No, it
I think
does not.
Goldberg is very vulnerable with the audience right now. I don't think they remember the Goldberg of the past. They know the Goldberg of now.
Milwaukee is a Attitude Era city.
You're absolutely right. But the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions that are going to be watching the show may see it a bit different.
But it doesn't matter because the people that watch the show are going to feed off of a live audience.
Could there be a shocker here? Not Owens winning, but could there be a shocker of
First
some
of
sort?
all, you don't. Brock Lesnar.
When I say that, I mean a shocking
Brock
event.
Lesnar is not going to say, "Hey, yeah, Goldberg can kick my ass 2 straight times, and yeah, it's fine if he does the job to Kevin Owens." Not going to happen.
New Universal Champion, Sunday at Fastlane.
Bill Goldberg, and who would have thought? A guy that we thought would never be back in this company is now going to have their biggest belt.
Folks, it is WWE Fastlane on the WWE
He's almost
Network.
getting CM Punk'd if you think about it. When The Rock beat Punk at the Rumble to become the champ.
Owens is?
Yeah, he's going to take.
Well, but
he's taking the role of CM Punk in this match.
As personally challenging as it may be for Kevin Owens, is he not a student enough of the game to know that this might
Oh,
be
he
the right
gets
thing to
it.
do?
Of course, he gets it.
He's had a longer run than I think he may have even expected. Doesn't mean he's not going to have that run again.
Oh, because he knows he's going to get Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam.
So Owens can face Lesnar, but Finn Balor can't face Goldberg.
Yeah, Owens is at least 250, 265.
Folks, that is Be the Booker for WWE Fastlane this Sunday.
You think
on
Finn
the
Balor
WWE
can pick up
Network.
Brock
We
Lesnar
are
and
gonna
body
be
slam him?
live. We are going to be live from the Bradley
You
Center.
think that's
BMO Harris
possible?
Bradley Center, covering on all of our social media accounts.
Exactly.
An event that will be
You got
Fastlane,
nothing
the
else to
last
say.
Stop.
'Cause you
on
don't
the
know.
road to WrestleMania.
'Cause I'm
no,
right.
it's because we are out of time. Read the papers that are before you and see that we are about 20 minutes over in this show.
It's not my
And
fault.
I have to pay by the gigabyte to air the show, so I have to end it
Well, end it.
for that one.
This one.
I can't even point to it this point. This is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much. And we'll see you tomorrow on a brand new edition of The Returning. Something wrong with breathing? Feedback back.
I exhale.